All right. I want to thank Owen and Finn. Great job, guys. Pack 66 representing. At this time, we'll take a moment. I'm going to introduce our Senior Vice President of Development, Gary Basil. And he's going to have a few words and introduce the popcorn teams and all the volunteers that have been working so hard to make this possible for you. So, Gary, I'm going to throw it to you.
Good morning, Brian. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time to take care of Scouts by putting on this event. I just want to say that this is my second year as the Senior Vice President of Development for Mount Baker Council, and the second time I've had the privilege of introducing the Mount Baker Council Popcorn Committee. Normally, this kickoff would present scouting units with some subtle program and product changes, really small adjustments to fine-tune the popcorn fundraiser and provide some improved opportunities for scouts to raise funds to pay for their own scouting adventure. But 2020 has brought with it some pretty significant obstacles, and adjusting to those obstacles have strained all of us. Between 1910, when scouting came to America, and us gathering here today, generations have come and gone. Economies have flourished, faltered, and flourished again. Our society has gone through some countless changes and challenges. And it only takes a reflection on the past 6 months to see some very significant challenges and our society's effort to overcome those difficulties. Through it all, the scouting movement has faithfully continued its mission. It's held to a system of values and priorities that have shaped and strengthened young people in each generation. Its principles have become the foundation of growth and development for individuals represented in every cross-section of our society, from electricians to surgeons, the people who paved the roads between our cities and the astronauts that walked on the moon. There are scouts among them. The enduring nature of the scouting movement is made possible by a number of things. First, a program developed around and measured by the values in the Scout Oath and Law. Second, by dedicated practitioners like you who exemplify servant leadership, especially in difficult times. Today, we're hosted by our Council Popcorn Committee, who are also dedicated servant leaders, and your partners in the 2020 Mount Baker Council Popcorn Fundraiser. They've all worked tirelessly to put together an incredible fundraising program for our Scouts in a year that's brought many challenges. I want to thank all of you for being here today to begin your partnership in this endeavor. I'd also like to express my appreciation for your leadership and for your unit's participation. The scouting program, Mount Baker Council, and most importantly, our Scouts need a really strong fundraiser this year. Some program fee structure changes and continuing to engage our Scouts in the program for the remainder of social distancing requirements make this a critical time to execute a solid fundraiser for our Scouts. Thank you for making it happen. Now, it's my great pleasure to introduce your leadership team for the Mount Baker Council's 2020 Popcorn Fundraiser. Heading up the entire program for as the Council Popcorn Colonel is Anna Foster, and she's assisted by Brittany Smith, who's our Facebook Colonel and going to keep you up to date on all the things that are going on through the Facebook venue. And our staff support for those positions are Kevin Nichols and Brian Lechner. Our North Cascades District Popcorn team is headed up by John Brentari as our Popcorn Colonel for that district, supported by Carol Thomas, the District Popcorn Warehouse Colonel, and then Jenny Connolly, your District Site Sales Colonel. And staff support for this district is Sven Gilkey. Pilchuck District team is comprised of Jessica Sanders as our District Popcorn Colonel, Jennifer Bontrager, District Popcorn Warehouse Colonel, and then Brittany Smith as our District Popcorn Site Sales Colonel, as well as her role facilitating Facebook for the entire council. And your district support staff is Daniel Adams. And last but certainly not least, Salish C District Popcorn team headed up by Sean Moina, our district popcorn colonel, Mike Wynn, our district popcorn warehouse colonel, and then Cora Thompson, district popcorn site sales, with support from staff Brian Linhart and Jose Rodriguez. So thanks to all those folks who are working behind the scenes to make all this happen. We really appreciate your support and your leadership, and I wish everybody luck this year in popcorn fundraising. And thanks again for making it happen.
When we're back, let me know. Thanks, Gary. Really appreciate all those kind words about all those volunteers. They do really work hard, and we really appreciate them. And speaking of, here's our chief popcorn volunteer, lady with the plan, decision maker, all the above, Anna Foster, to kick off this popcorn webinar and make sure that you guys are as successful as we can make you this year. So Anna.
Thanks, Brian. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this video from Pack 42. They took their sales from $20,000 to almost $70,000 in 1 year. Thanks for watching that video, everyone. I'd like to say thank you to Brittany for sharing her ideas. So if you have any questions about this video, please type them in the Q&A now. Any questions? All right, and then now we will be taking our attendance poll. It should be up on your screen now.
So we have a question on site sales. Everyone's asking about site sales. You might want to just say we're going to cover those later.
Okay, so some of the questions that are coming through are about site sales. We have a section about site sales later, so stay tuned for answers. All right, okay.
10 more seconds.
About 10 more seconds for questions, and then we'll move on to the next section. All right, so now I would like to introduce Sean. He has come up with some tips on how to sell popcorn and how not to sell popcorn.
Hello, everyone. Sean here. With the ever-changing world that we're living in, I'd like to take a few minutes to show you not only some of the basics behind Trails End, but show you some samples of the right and wrong way to sell popcorn door to door. Please enjoy the following videos.
Does anybody have any questions about those videos?
No questions yet. We do have a question on how to get parents involved. If you have parents who are really unengaged.
So to answer the question about how to get parents involved, we're going to have you reach out to your unit commissioner and reach out to your district teams if you don't see any ideas coming from these videos or presentations throughout the morning.
And we do have a question about square readers.
Square
Are
readers,
we going to cover that later, or would you like to hear now?
we are going to actually cover square readers a little bit later.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
So now I would like to, if there's no other questions.
I got a quick question.
Oh, another question?
So we're gonna send out a poll, and this is about the videos and the interview with Brittany. So please fill out this poll coming through.
So please fill out this poll that's coming to you right now.
And while they answer the poll, we have a question on how do they get sales forms?
That will be covered a little bit later too as well. There we
Alright.
go.
And we're going to talk about some COVID-19 and site selling and wagon sales later on in the presentation. Correct, Leanna?
Actually, that is coming up next. So, if there's no other questions, I'm assuming no. I'm going to introduce Jessica to talk to you about safety protocols while selling during COVID-19.
Thanks, Anna. Thanks everyone for showing up this morning. Selling popcorn is going to have an obstacle with it this year, and that's COVID impacting everyone's lives and all our activities. So we wanted you to have some safety protocols to keep you safe while you're selling. You can go one more. So here in Washington State, it is mandatory to wear a mask. So we ask that you wear a mask and or a face shield. The face shields, if you go online on Pinterest, there's a picture there. You can decorate it with popcorn stickers, make them look like a popcorn kernel, something festive with popcorn to help the Scout stand out. And then we need to remember when we're out there doing site sales or door-to-door sales that we need to disinfect all the surfaces. So you should laminate your order form when you are allowing customers to touch it. You can wipe it off easily. Make sure you wipe off the table, your phones if that's needed for the sale. If you have square readers with you, make sure that's wiped down as well after each customer. And the big thing is washing your hands. Most likely you're not going to have anywhere close to wash your hands with soap and water while you are out selling, but you can have your sanitizer along. Make sure when you're out there for a site sale that you have it out on the table. That way it's easily accessible for you and the customer. And to keep with our social distancing, couple ideas for you to keep the 6 feet. You could use 2 tables, one in front of the other to make the 6 feet between the Scout and the customer. You can put signs on the ground to help the customers keep their 6-foot distance, just like you see in the stores. Another thing you can make, if you can see the little picture there, a sneeze or cough guard. You can easily buy those 2, the plexiglass and the shelf holder at Home Depot for less than $25. And that'll just be an extra protection between the Scout and the customer. Parents of the Scouts that are going out for their sales should take their temperature. Make sure that they're not having any symptoms of the COVID. And that's a great way to stay safe. Don't go if you're not feeling well. We have come up with some storefront selling recommendations. Again, these are recommendations that we think will help keep you and your Scouts safe while out selling. We ask that you only have one family selling. So that can be one Scout and one parent. Maybe you've got brothers in a troop and 2 brothers and one parent will work as well. But keep it to one family and then we're not spreading to other families. And like I said earlier, laminate your order form. That way it is much easier to wipe off going customer to customer. Another idea is to make a QR code sticker. Customers can scan that with their phone and they can look at the products available on their own phone instead of using yours or your laminated form. And when it comes to getting ready for a site sale or a going out wagon sale door to door, make sure it comes from one stash from the unit colonel's inventory. That way there's not a whole bunch of different family members touching different popcorn. So keep the inventory in one place for that. And there's many different ways that you can go about putting out the product. You can make a poster and have all the pictures of the product on the poster to show the customer, or you can take one of each item and lay it on the table. You could clip the corner of one of those bags, and then you know for each site sale that those bags are the only ones that go out on the table. You could also put them in a plastic bag. You could wrap them with plastic, just somehow that all the popcorn's not being touched by a bunch of different people. If a customer does buy a bag, have them take it out of the box instead of one of the scouts taking it out and then handing it off. The less we touch, the better. And back again to taking temperatures and health checks. There's a form with some questions on it. You know, have the parent check that, call the unit colonel and check with them that, yeah, we don't have any of these symptoms, we're good to go, no temperature. Again, just a recommendation to help keep everybody stay safe. Are there any questions?
So we do have a question. We have people who are having a hard time understanding why Scout leadership is allowing site sales or door-to-door sales. What are some ways we can talk to our scouts about why this is allowed when they're not being allowed to go to school, meetings, or camping, and how we're going to keep them safe and healthy? You touched on some great things and had some great tips. How would you address that with them?
I think the first main point of that question is that we are asking that only one family is at a site sale. So that could be 2 to 3 people. We know that we are limited to 5 per group. Just like a grocery worker, there's some of the recommendations that we had said, making a sneeze shield, cough shield to put on the table, and making sure that you're supplied with your mask and your face shield. I just think keeping it to one family is really what's going to make it work this year.
And Brian Lechner chime in, and I'll also say along the lines, if you don't feel comfortable going out, don't go out. We have plenty of ways to sell popcorn this year. If site sales isn't for you, sell online. If wagon sales aren't for you, guess what? Sell online. There's lots of ways to sell popcorn this year. As long as you're following safety protocols, one person contact with all that gear, do what you feel comfortable with. Back to you, Jessica.
So clarification, temperatures are to be reported to the unit?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, to
the
the
unit
unit.
colonel, yes.
All right.
Nothing above 100.4. Yep.
And we actually had someone who I think had a great suggestion that it's a good idea to have 2 hand sanitizers, one for the public and one for the Scout family themselves.
Even better.
There we go.
And then, are we going to talk about how are we going to explain to customers that we need money for camp when there's no camp activities happening due to COVID?
Let's be optimistic. We have an entire year until the next summer camps are, and hopefully we'll be able to do that. If not, by then, the council should, have come up with a way that we can make it work.
I'd like to add to that, popcorn pays for more than just camp. We all have budgets throughout the year. We all have fees we need to pay. This year's fees have gone up for the council, for the national. So paying for popcorn, selling popcorn pays for more than just camp. It provides an entire year of scouting for each youth.
that it?
That's it right now.
So is that all the questions for right now?
That's all right now.
Okay. Great job, Jessica. Thanks for putting all that work together and keeping us safe this year. for
Thank you,
selling.
Anna.
Well, now I would like to introduce Gabrielle. Gabrielle is our Vice President of Marketing for Mount Baker Council. She will be giving us some great strategies to sell online.
Hi, Anna. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah.
So as we've talked about, when we're going to be out and about, we definitely want to make sure that we are being safe. But one of the great tools that Trails End has provided us this year is that we have selling online with Online Direct. So when we're talking about selling online, one of the first things we're going to want to look at is using the tools we have. So the Trails End dashboard. We're going to talk about the Trails End site. If you are not part of the Trails End Facebook page or the Mount Baker Council Popcorn Facebook page, we encourage you to join those. We're going to talk about how you can use your own social media sites, as well as how to use the Mount Baker Council website to get some resources. So we're going to look at your Scouts personal page. This is when you're selling online direct. This is where people are going to go. Up in the URL, you're going to have their personal ID. And you can see you have their face. You can see that you have the little blurb they're going to go in and write about themselves, about why scouting is important to them, and then their favorite product. My son likes to pick one of the more expensive products to put as their favorite product. Your child can pick what they'd like. When someone visits your site and they click that little triangle in the middle, they're actually going to open up another section to that page. And that section is going to tell how much progress your scout has made in their goals so far, as well as the carousel of photos and videos that you have uploaded for your scout. And the important part that you're going to want to do as a unit colonel is this About My Unit section. And if, Sven, thank you. If you don't go in and fill this out, it's going to be this big blank box. So what you want is it to look like this pretty box on the bottom of the slide that we've got here. So go in and fill that out, and you do that through your unit colonel dashboard with Trails End. So when you are talking to your parents about updating their Trails End site, you want to make sure that they understand they want to go to the Manage Page section, and that's where their scout can go in, pick their favorite product, write their About Me section, talk about their activities and photos, and then you'll also see those share buttons we're going to talk about. And just for your reference, that scout code that's at the end of the URL is up there in that upper left-hand side underneath their profile photo. So why digital? Well, other than it's COVID and a lot of us are inside right now, Facebook in particular is the most used social site by adults in the US. So 2/3 of adults are considered active users. And an active user is someone who logs in at least once every 30 days. Look around your friends and family, you probably see them a lot more often than 30 days on that site. People spend an average of about 3 hours per day on social networks and messaging, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, why it's important and what you need to do to make sure that you're leveraging that 3 hours to the best of your ability. We already know that marketers, companies, services use social media sites, and that's because people are there looking for products. So let's make sure that our scouts are there. We're going to talk a little bit about Instagram stories and Facebook stories. Those are a great resource, a great way for you to get messaging out. But 91% of social media usage is on a mobile device, and that's important when you're doing your messages and doing your posts, so that you keep that in mind so that they're formatted correctly. So the Trails End Share feature, you can do them from the web version, or you can do them from the app. For the app, the one thing I will say is that the social share button is only going to let you share apps that you have loaded on your phone. So if you have a Twitter account, but you don't use the Twitter app, you can't use social share to press that button and post on Twitter. Now you can press that copy feature. It'll give you your Scouts URL, and you can go ahead and create your own tweet. So let's talk about social media. You can use social media as a unit, and of course we want our families to use it at a personal level. As a unit, we're going to do general communications, contests. That can be council contests, trails in contests, unit contests, best practices, trails and promotions and deadlines. If you have a unit page, a unit dedicated page, it should be public, which means it's a great way to say, hey, if you see a scout out and you want to help support scouting and help them on their adventure, please purchase some popcorn from them, ask them about scouting and how it benefits them. You're also going to want to showcase your scouts. You can do this in a variety of ways. You can pick a high seller scout. You can pick an extra effort scout. I had a scout in my troop last year that sold $700 in one day in wagon sales. When you're doing that, whatever you're doing to promote that scout, tag the parents, because not only do the parents like to see it, but the friends and family of the parents are going to see that. And that's really who you are targeting with that information. Of course, as the families, you want to go back to them and explain that they can use this to help optimize their online direct sales. They also need to take some pictures. Take pictures of their scouts out selling. Take pictures of them camping or hiking or fishing. We can do that with family groups right now. We can go on a hike with a family group. Community service. The council's having a 1,000,000-minute challenge right now. Everybody should be doing community service. We should have lots of pictures of that. Tag out Mount Baker BSA or use our other hashtags. NBC Popcorn, NBC Scouts are kind of our generic ones, but create one for you. Aiden's Adventure, Emily's Adventure, and it can be used throughout. It doesn't just have to be for popcorn. Be personal. That's really what is going to help. People want to know the why, the who, the benefits. And don't be afraid to ask for an American Heroes donation or remind them that it exists. Go live. Facebook Live is a huge thing. If you are at a site sale or if you are doing door-to-door sales, go live. Create an online event. Post that you and your scout are going to be online at 8 p.m. on Friday, and you're going to be talking about all the benefits of scouting and the fun that your scout has, and they're going to answer any questions that you have about scouting popcorn and what's going on to help them fund their adventure. And then make sure you have that URL we've talked about to your scouts page so that people can go and purchase right then and there. We've talked about Instagram stories and Facebook stories. There's also Facebook rooms that you might want to utilize. Create an event. You know, Alex's popcorn selling adventure, and it is, or popcorn scouting and funds, or whatever you want to call it. And you know, it starts August 1st, it goes through October 13th. Again, you can post updates to there. You can post your link to your selling site there. Posting frequency, at least once a week is the minimum, and it really depends on your audience. If I post every day about popcorn, no matter how cute my child is, my friends are gonna just go, we're gonna snooze Gabrielle for a little while here. But if your friends love to see that and you can post 9 times a day about it, do it. Thank the people who purchase online from you. You will be able to see on your report who has purchased from you. Tag them if possible in a thank you post. And that post can be as simple as a generic thank you graphic that you found. It can be your scout holding a thank you sign. It can be a video of your scout thanking them. Again, tag those people, and don't underestimate the power of tagging someone to get rivalry going, especially if you have siblings. If two of your siblings have bought and one hasn't, I would expect one of them is going to call and say, well, hey, Livy and I have bought something, Steve. I see you haven't supported your niece or nephew. What's going on? Use videos. Have your scouts create videos that are unique to them. And that could be if you have an older scout who wants to create an elaborate video with graphics and dancing popcorn bags, and gnomes aren't the thing anymore, but whatever the new thing is, go ask your teenager, they can tell you. Let them do it. If you have a tiger who you've practiced the script and the script comes out as, hi, I love scouting and I have a lot of fun and I go camping and fishing and I would like your support and would you please buy some popcorn? Thank you. That's an awesome video too. Go with it. So let's talk a little bit about what some of your posts could look like. So Trails End has done a great job enhancing their auto-generated posts, those ones that come up when you use those share features. And this is just what the Facebook one looks like. You see the photo and the link, and then you can do the text above. And then when you start doing some personalized posts, one of the things that I like to do is the goal is to make it easy for people. So when you're making it easy for people, you're going to want to use 2 links. So when you see the 2 pictures of my son next to each other, the one on the left is going to have a link kind of in the text, and that's just above the fold. So when we're talking about those mobile devices and optimizing your photos and your text for that, that's what you want to look at. The other one is when you click see more, you have a link down and it's on its own line, and that's for some of my less tech savvy adults who are on my page. In Instagram, I told you can't link from the Trails End app or from the dashboard to Instagram. Instagram doesn't allow links in their post. Well, they allow them, but they don't work, so they're kind of pointless. So there's a few things you can do. You can make a post and direct people to your Facebook page or event. You can put the link in your profile, and you see an example of how to do that. Or you can ask people to send you a private message or a direct message. Now, what you can do from the Trails End app is if you have the Instagram app on your phone, it will let you send a direct message. That's what that box looks like. I would recommend that if you want to use that feature, that immediately prior or immediately after you send that using the Trails End app, that you go in and send your own direct message, because that one's a little generic and they may not know what's going on. Twitter, again, is a perfectly reasonable post, and you can personalize it, tag Mount Baker BSA, add some hashtags, lots of good stuff. So LinkedIn is an interesting one. If you have some business contacts and you want to send them a message, I would recommend the private message. But if you want to share as a post, then make it relevant. And the way you're going to want to do that is you're going to do kind of an op-ed piece. You know, something like why I support scouting by purchasing popcorn. You know, in the years that I've been involved in scouting, I've seen scouts who were shy 7-year-olds go to Eagle Scouts who look people in the eye, have great messaging, and they've learned time management, citizenship, sales skills, money management. Did you even know they could earn a salesmanship merit badge? So if you believe in supporting a program like this, click the link. You can email and text, and then online direct, of course, you can send the order to them. And that's just an example of what some of those say. The text message just does come from an unknown number, so you just want to keep that in mind depending upon who you're sending it to. Facebook ads. This is a personal decision on whether or not you want to do a Facebook ad. But what I will tell you is that from what I have read, most people have not had success with selling scouting through popcorn with a Facebook ad. And do know that social media has some risks that you want to be aware of, so just be mindful of where you're posting. So let's make it fun. And you can do things like the 50-state challenge. You can build a thermometer. You can set a product challenge. So product challenge, you can have someone go on and say, my favorite product's cheese lovers. I am trying to sell 10 cheese lovers bundles by August 21st. Can you help me? Just make it short, tag people, post updates. And this can be a unit challenge or an individual challenge. We also have some recipe cards that my troop created before that you can kind of showcase how they can use products, create your own bundle. And don't be afraid to combine your door-to-door sales with online direct. We talked about that, how to do that. Make some door hangers and business cards with a thank you message. One of the things you want to do there is include contact information and include the chocolate shipping date and your QR code. You can think outside traditional site sales, garage sales, sporting events, look at businesses. Remember to realize what phase your county is in. And don't forget to promote your unit. With our situation the way it is, our scouts are out there, they're happy, they're dressed nice. We want to make sure that you're promoting your unit at the same time. Have something you can give to someone who asks a question about your unit, regarding your join night, regarding Be a Scout Day. Have posters at any site sales you do so that your scouts can talk to them and people can see what you do. And have fun. Don't forget to check out all of our resources. We have a number of resources on the council website, a number of resources on the Facebook pages. And if you're a crafty person, there's all sorts of things for your Cricut Silhouette or Brothers Scan and Cut that you can create door hangers and popcorn cutouts and all sorts of fun things. So hopefully that gives you some ideas of how to augment your sales by using online direct and social media. Are there any questions?
I'm waiting to see.
Okay. All right, well, if you do have any questions, feel free to type them in the Q&A and we will get those answered for you.
Thank you, Gabrielle. We really do need to take some advantage of some of these online sales, and if we're going to have a successful year this year. So
Thank you, and I think our scouts are going to do a great job.
I think they are. All right. Next we have Cora to talk about our wagon sales. This will be another great selling method this year. So thanks for joining us today, Cora.
Thanks, Hannah, for having me. I'm glad to be here to introduce a couple of videos that we have on wagon sales. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let the videos play, and then we'll talk for just a moment after.
Okay.
All right, so that was the video on the wagon sales. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the QA section right this moment. And I just wanted to remind everyone that when you're doing wagon sales, make sure that if it's more than one single family, you keep your 2 deep leadership and follow the same COVID rules that we've already put in place.
So we do have a couple questions.
Sure, go ahead.
Do we know if the unit's earning more money for online direct compared to wagon sales?
We will cover that at a later time.
All right. And then we do have a question on shipping for online sales when there isn't a promotion going on. Is that normally $7.99 for the first item and 99 cents for additional items?
Again, we'll cover that a little bit later, but yes, that is true.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, well, thank you, Cora, for putting the videos together. And just, it'll be a great year for
Yes.
wagon sales too.
Good luck, everyone.
All right, so now we have some fun stuff. All the kiddos want to know about all these, and I know you all want to know about all the prizes. So I have Sean back again to help go over all the prizes this year.
All right, sounds great. This year we have a very exciting prize program. For starters, when you sell an item, you earn this year's Popcorn Pocket Patch. By far the best change this year is the point system for the Trails End prizes. For every $1 you sell in traditional sales, taking cash, you get 1 point per dollar. But if you make the same sale taking a credit or debit card, you get 1.5 points per dollar. And when you sell $1 online using direct shipping, you earn 2 points per dollar. So if your scout sells $1,000 online in direct sales, you get to pick from the prize level from the $2,000 prize. And with Trails End offering free shipping, it doesn't get much better than that now, does it?
No.
We also have the $650 Funko prize, the $1,100 club, getting tickets to both the Silver Tips hockey game and this year's CSP patch. New this year, we're offering $5,000 in individual sales. You can earn yourself a lock-in party. And with $10,000 in individual sales, you can earn a Great Wolf Lodge trip for you and your family. We're also continuing our $2,500, $5,000, and $7,500 youth growth incentives to help your unit with Pinewood Derby items, cooking items, or an Amazon or Scout Shop gift card. For the scouts that have earned the Trails End Scholarship Program in the past, you will still continue to get 4% of all sales towards your scholarship. So get your uniform on, get out there and start selling some popcorn to earn some of these great prizes.
Are there any questions on the prizes this year?
One moment, please. So the clarification that the points are, this is still an Amazon gift card, correct?
Yes, it's still an Amazon gift card for Trails and points.
And price levels are in points this year, not dollars, correct?
That is correct.
For Trails
For
End,
Trails End.
Okay,
for Mount Baker Council, they are dollars.
all right. And then we do have questions about the scholarship. They're asking for the threshold, so do we want to go over
Threshold, like,
to enroll?
you cannot enroll in the scholarship program this year. The scholarship program is null and void this year.
But if they've
If
previously.
you've previously been in the scholarship program, you can sell $1 worth of popcorn and 4% of that will go towards your scholarship.
Jared can speak.
And
Jared,
we'll
Jared.
talk more about it a little bit later. Jared, I think Jared's got it covered in his.
And we do have some questions about what exactly a lock-in party is, and of course, how we would handle that during social distancing.
The lock-in party will happen, but we don't know when it will happen based on COVID-19 this year. So we will follow all the safety guidelines that are set in place according to our state.
A lock-in party, we're anticipating like a party at a pool or a climbing gym or something like that. Everyone's invited to it. Skating. We haven't decided on where yet because we don't know when we can do it, but it will be earned and it will be honored.
And then is the Funko Scout choice, or is it only the SpongeBob figure?
This year, we have not decided which Funkos yet the Scouts will be able to pick from, but we will give options for the Scouts to pick select ones, and then we're doing SpongeBob around the world this year, so.
Okay, so we do have some more clarification requested on the prize program. So their question is that Trails End will be providing Amazon credit for points, and the council will be providing prizes on top of that based on dollar amounts. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, that's all the questions. Oh, wait, I lied. If the silver tips don't play, will we be looking at another reward to replace that?
Yes.
You guys can't nod, you're on.
On
camera.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm on camera, not just voice. So
Yes, we will still honor the Silver Tips game. So we may have to change the prize or the date of the
Yeah.
game.
Or-
everything that we are advertising will be honored. at a later
and
date.
perhaps the Silver Tips turns into an Aqua Sox game this next spring. So there's several
Something
different options, but you will receive something along those lines.
Perfect, thank you. I think that's all the questions we have right now.
Awesome. And if you come up with any more, just post them in the Q&A and we will get to them. So thank you, Sean, for going over everything prize-wise with us.
You're more than welcome.
So now we have Jared, our Trails End representative, to talk about all the Trails End changes. Thanks for joining us today, Jared.
Anna, thank you for having me. Good morning, Mount Baker Scouters. Let me Anna, is that coming up? Anna, can you hear me?
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yes, I can see it. You're good to go, Jared.
Okay, and you guys can hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, let me add my thank you to everybody who's joining this morning. We really appreciate it. Great to be here with you. A lot of great information. Thanks to everybody that's presented so far. I'll talk a little bit more about what we have going on at Trails End. We've been hard at work with COVID, basically trying to put together how we can make this sale successful for everybody. We know that there's lots of varying opinions out there amongst not only units as far as how they want to sell, but also even within a unit, there's going to be different feelings about that with families as well. So what we've tried to do is say, okay, let's put all these different sell methods together and make them available options for families to be able to choose to sell however they're most comfortable with. And so you may have come today with a question of how in the world are we going to allow our scouts to sell safely and keep them safe? Can we? And the answer is yes. And scouts certainly can sell while social distancing. What you're seeing on my screen here, hopefully on the left, is a little flyer that we've put together, a sales tip, sales resource for you as leaders to be able to get to your families. It's a 6-step program that would suggest how a scout can sell $1,000 while social distancing. And we feel like we've always said that to sell that $1,000, a scout and their family would be looking at about 8 to 10 hours of fundraising. And we still feel that way even through social distancing, using some of the tools that we're going to present to you today, and taking some great advice that Gabrielle has given regarding social media. Thank you for that, Gabrielle. But we think that scouts can still raise the money that they need to pay for their upcoming year in scouting. Certainly, Brittany and Anna talked about the different fees that are coming and the various expenses. Even though may not have camp immediately, their scouting will resume and there will be expenses. And so there's money, families need money to be able to pay for those. I'm not going to go through these 6 steps, but I want you to be able to have this flyer if you like. I'm sure the council is going to have it on their page and make this available to you. However, we also will make it available to you if you'd like through a little number that we have here at Trails End. That's 62771. Throughout my presentation, there's going to be 3 or 4 of these keywords that you're going to be able to text a keyword to, and we'll then send you information or resources or links. So to get this PDF flyer, you can text my plan to 62771, and that'll give you a link that then you can go get this flyer. And you know, I know it's $1,000, and some of you say, oh my gosh, we're not, that's not what our goal is. So don't necessarily say, well, I can't use this flyer because we're not going to sell 1,000. You can plug in, or you can change that amount to whatever you'd like to, or whatever your unit's goal can be. So let's talk about online direct. And again, it's been talked about a little bit prior, but when you hear the word online direct, it's basically it's online sales. And I'll tell you why. You'll see here in a minute why we're kind of rebranding the online sales to now online direct. And I'll tell you that here in a minute. But know that when we talk about online direct, it's the same method as you're used to with online sales. So when we look at online direct, what are some of the benefits? Well, certainly with COVID, it's 100% safe way for scouts to sell, for leaders and even for families. 0 risk, right? There would be, if a scout or the unit decided to sell, that they collectively said, hey, this is the way we want to sell, well, there's no leftover inventory for you, okay? Also, no handling of cash for scout and for unit. So those are some of the benefits of online sales. So let's talk about a couple of the changes that we've made with our online sales or online direct. One, those of you that have been a part of the online selling in the past have known that the products have always been a little different online. And so this year, basically, we've taken order form products at order form prices and made them available for online. And so in the past, someone would have maybe gone out to our online site and seen that the white cheddar was $30 and then they would look at their form and see that it was $20, and they'd say, why is the price different? So one of the changes, based on lots of feedback from all over the country, is that we have order form products at order form prices available for online sales, for online direct, all the way down to even the $10 price point. Now, so that we can still send enough money back to scouting to cover the council and for the unit and even Trails End, we have, as we started the online sales July 1st, we implemented our shipping policy for 2020, which was $7.99 for the first item and then 99 cents each additional item. Well, as we started to get people more engaged and what have you, we did some free shipping promotions. And most of you probably know, and I think Anna and the gang will probably talk about this here in a little bit, but right now, currently, the site is free shipping. For orders right now, currently it's $30 and more, and that may change. So we're excited about the free shipping, and of course we've seen lots of increase in sales, and certainly is a great time for you as unit leaders to now go get your families engaged, and I'll talk about that more here in a minute. So order form products, order form prices, big change. Second big change is that the app now has the ability to basically do an online sale right in the app. In the past, like Gabrielle showed you, or last year with the app being new, the only option a scout had to do an online sale in the app was to share their page. So they could go in, share their page and all that, but I couldn't take an order in the app. Well, new in 2020, and this isn't something we came up with, this was actually some scouts in other parts of the country saying, hey, this feature would be really cool as we go around to be able to, have take an order for a consumer and have it shipped directly to them. And so now that's a new feature in the app. And so how that would work, maybe to kind of help explain that, if I were to call, I'm a scout and I'm selling and I call my Uncle Brian every year and ask for his support. If it was last year, I would have called Uncle Brian and say, hey, Uncle Brian, would you support me in scouting and buy some popcorn? And of course, Uncle Brian would say yes. The old way, I would have to then send Uncle Brian, a link. And Uncle Brian would have to click on that link, and the burden was on Uncle Brian to then add items to his cart, put in his shipping address, and put in a credit card and complete that order. Well, now with the online direct mode being right in the app, I can get, as a scout, I can get Uncle Brian on the phone, and literally just once Uncle Brian says yes, I have the ability now as a scout to add items to the cart, enter the address, take the credit card, and complete the sale. Also, if a scout family feels comfortable going door to door and staying social distances away, they could also do an online direct order with the consumer right there while social distancing and be able to have that product shipped directly to that consumer. There's even so that when it came time for payment, not wanting to hand the credit card back and forth, right? Wanting to stay completely 100% contactless, there's a new feature that the scout can then, once he gets up to the payment, enter the consumer's phone number and it will text a link to that consumer for the cart. The consumer would then click on the cart, complete the transaction, and then they're done by entering their credit card, and then they're done, and the scout has been able to complete that sale while social distancing. So really cool feature with the app, and certainly just in time as we experience COVID in this lockdown. So how it works, here's a little graphic. On the left is how in the past you've been, sharing your page through email or text or social media, and that functionality is still there. Scout can still share their page, but the second way is the Scout can take the order right inside the app and have that product shipped directly to the consumer. Pretty excited about this. So that's online direct, and I know I see lots of hands and questions. So I don't know, Anna, you help me if we want to pause or if we want to keep going, and then we'll get to the questions after. But as we talked a lot about online, one of the things you may be asking is, well, what if and I think it's been talked about already, everyone knows the answer from the previous portion of this training, right? Is yes, they're still going to be able to get product if that's what you and your unit or you and some of your families would like to do. And the app is still there. Can be a big part of that. And so last year being the first year of the app, we had a few hiccups. It wasn't perfect, but it certainly worked. It certainly took transactions. It recorded sales and had the ability to take credit cards. But based on a lot of feedback, we've been hard at work making improvements to the app in year number 2, and that would be, of course, for 2020. And so some of the changes, don't know exactly what this, I'm not a techie, but the interface and everything was rebuilt in Google Flutter. That may mean something to some of you. The Scout registration, which was very clunky last year, we fixed that, made that much more streamlined. A Scout and their family can literally download the app. If they've never used it before, download the app, hit the register button, and within less than 60 seconds, they can create their account, tie that account back to their unit, and be up, ready to go and to start selling. The checkout went from 9 clicks down to 4, just trying to streamline and make that process better, eliminating extra steps. Like we talked about, the new online direct mode in the app. Some consolidated views. Those of you who maybe used the app last year know that if you needed some information, you had to go to a couple screens to get it. We've got more dashboard type views where you're going to be able to, on one screen, get the information that you need. And then to be able to reassociate some storefronts. So some really good new enhancements and improvements to the app for 2020. And those enhancements are live. And so for those of you that have used the app last year, you can go into the Google Play Store or the Apple Store and update the app. We do recommend should work, but if you have issues, we recommend that you could delete the app and then reinstall it. But all of these enhancements and things that we've talked about today are live right now, current. So just real quick, 3 ways to sell in the app, just to kind of give some perspective here. So we've got storefront mode, and this is for those who do follow the guidelines and feel it's safe and all that. Certainly all things storefront. The mode that's there in the app is still there and allows you to enter in the stores, have Scouts claim their shifts, and keep track of sales, split it by sites, by day, and all those options that are there. So you can check that out. Second is the wagon mode, is where the Scouts typically going through the neighborhood, going door to door. So that's another mode within the app. And then the third mode of being able to get into online direct. And that would be where now we're going to actually have that consumer pay for shipping or enjoy one of the free shipping promotions and have that product shipped directly to them. So if I'm a Scout and I'm out selling and maybe it's a neighbor and I'm talking to them and they say, yeah, we'll support you. And they say, well, do you want the product shipped to you or do you want me just to deliver it? And if that consumer says, you know what, I'm just next door, just deliver it to me when you can. Well, that Scout would then go into wagon sell mode, place the order, take the sale, and mark it as undelivered. Or if they had product in hand that the unit leader has given them, they could mark that as delivered, right? So that's a wagon sell. If the consumer says, hey, you know what? Yeah, we need the social distance. So just have it shipped to me and I'm willing to pay for shipping. Or yes, I'll enjoy the free shipping promo that's going on. Well, the Scout then goes into online direct mode, can take the order and have the product shipped directly to the consumer. So hope that helps a little bit in explaining the different modes within the app. Talked about this already, of course. The app accepts credit card through a partnership of the Mount Baker Council and Trails End. Those credit card fees are paid for. Obviously, in a time like we're in right now, it's going to be safer. The less handling of cash, the better. Here's some other benefits, bigger rewards. Sean's already talked about that. As a scout records a face-to-face sale, if it's a credit card sale, they're going to earn more points. Safer, higher sales, analyzing the data from last year, 27% higher on credit card sales than cash. And then the hardware, all your Square readers from last year work within the app. I think one of the questions was, hey, what if our phone doesn't have a headphone jack or the appropriate jack? You can also, there's Square Bluetooth readers, and those are compatible within the app. If a scout gets in a situation where they're able to take a sale but they don't have their reader on them, no need to worry. They can enter the credit card in manually. And even though those manual entries carry a higher fee, those fees, even on the manual entry, are still being covered for you as units. Okay. Here's a quick visual of what the app looked like in 2019. You can see the screen there, and now some screenshots from the new app. You can see it's just better looking. The interface is smoother. It just works better. Excited about the app. Okay, one more key benefit I'm going to point out, the highlighted line there. It says families can turn in cash payments to the units via credit card. So if your unit decides to get product and maybe you assign out families $200 or what have you to each family, in the past, as those sales took place, whatever the cash would be for that family would then have to turn that cash back into the unit leader. And so one of the requests from leaders all across the country says, hey, wouldn't it be great if there was an option where the family, if they chose to, could actually, instead of turning in the cash, could just charge their personal card and keep the cash and pay the unit through the credit card. So that option is available. Let's say I get $200 signed out as a family. My scout goes out and sells 100 of it in cash, 100 of it in credit card. I don't want to have to go back to the leader. You as leaders don't want 35 families having to turn in that cash. I, as a scout family, can literally go in and say, all right, charge the $100 to the unit, pay the unit through the credit card, and I then just keep the cash. So a cool little feature. So the app is there. It's ready to download. That's our second little code word for our 62771 number. You can APP, and that'll download the app. We hope that you would get this information to all your scout families, certainly so that they can download the app, create their Scouts account, and be ready to start selling. Okay, we've talked a lot about the app and even the leader portal, and maybe just go back here, maybe just real quick for those of you that are new. The app is a selling tool for the scout. So you as a leader do not log into the app. Okay, we have through the trailsend.com website, you'll go to a desktop and log into what we call the unit leader portal. And that's where you will, and maybe that's part of the agenda. I apologize if I'm stealing somebody's thunder, but that's where you as a leader will manage the sale, is through the leader portal. The app is for scouts and their families to use as their selling tool. Okay? So the app, the leader portal, obviously we're going through these quickly, and so we're not going into depth of screens and what you do here and how it all works, but we offer these webinars. Hopefully everybody knows about these. If you don't, text, there's our third word, webinar, to 62771. This is where we go into depth of how the app works, how the leader portal works, all the enhancements. And then you can see our motto up there for these webinars: every question asked, every question answered. The webinar format is about a 30-minute webinar, a pre-recorded message where we go through the screens. After that pre-recorded message, a team of Trails End people come onto that, go live, and they literally answer every question. And they'll stay on for an hour, hour and a half. Some have gone even 2 hours with leaders just staying on, asking the questions that they need to get answered. You don't have to stay on that long, obviously. You get the info you need. You can obviously bail out, but we will stay on as long as you'd like to keep talking. Facebook, it's already been talked about. We certainly would encourage you to join our Facebook group. We've got over 18,000 leaders across the country. Great resource for you as leaders to not only stay up to date, but also to be able to have best practices shared from all over the country. That's our third word there, Facebook, or fourth word, Facebook to 62771, and that number will send you a link to join the Facebook group. Okay, the rewards, Sean covered the rewards. We won't go into that. Excited about the program. And certainly I know the bottom level went up to 400 points, but again, from 350 last year, but again, a scout can sell $200 online direct and reach that first level. So even easier for scouts this year to hit their levels to earn the prizes that they want. Products, obviously, COVID has caused some challenges for us in our plants, manufacturing and production. Won't go into detail there, but we're sorry. I'll just tell you, it's a bummer that there's some of the products that we've come to love and know so well that we just couldn't do this year. And the main reason is because we couldn't guarantee that we could produce them and have them, especially with them being on an order form. And so we wanted to make sure that we chose products that we knew 100% that we could fulfill on. And so basically what you're seeing here are the 7 products that we will then make available to you and to the council for face-to-face sales, if that's what your unit chooses to do. And so some of the new, we got the cheese lovers, salted caramel, the new blazing. I think everybody who's been to the grocery store and looks at the snacks food section knows that the flamin' market right now is super hot. It's a $1 billion market right now. White cheddar's there. Unfortunately, the microwave was one of those items that we just had troubles would have troubles producing right now. And so what we've done is we've brought in an Unbelievable Butter pre-pop, and that'll be at the $15 price point, big bag. Then also you see the popping corn has gone from the bag, which I'm sure all of you that have sold before have had one of those bags explode, whether hopefully not in your car or garage or wherever, and what a pain. Anyways, we've upgraded that into a jar. And then, of course, the $10 small caramel. In the past, we've had the military program at the 50 and the 30. We've kind of rebranded that this year to American Heroes. American Heroes will allow us to not only donate to military, but also we'll be able to include first responders as well. And so, like in the past, we've got a $50 donation, we've got a $30 donation, and then we have the dollar miscellaneous amount, so that if a consumer says, hey, I'll support you, here's $7 or $8, that's all I got in my pocket, or whatever the amount they want to, the scout will be able to record that in the app as a miscellaneous and record that miscellaneous amount. So with the some of these products that you're not seeing and now you're seeing on the screen as online, the chocolate lovers, the chocolate crunch, and the Unbelievable Butter, they will be available. But they'll only be available for online direct. So how that'll work is you remember this slide here. We got the storefront mode, the wagon mode, and the online direct mode. Well, how this works with products, okay? For storefront mode and wagon sell mode in the app, the scouts will only see order form products. Okay, so it's just those 7 products, because that's what we're going to be able to have for face-to-face sales. Okay, but once the scout moves from one of those modes into online direct mode, then the products open up, and they'll not only see the items that are on the order form, but they'll also see the other online exclusives, the Chocolate Lovers 10, the Chocolate Crunch, the butter, and then others, the coffee, and we'll have some bundles, but so everything will open up for the online direct mode. they then switch back to wagon mode, it will then just show the items that are on the order form. So hopefully that makes sense to you. A promotion that we have with readers, we felt it was important to get the readers directly to the scouts. And so basically for the scouts are going to be able to redeem their reader right within the Trails End app. And these readers for all the scouts who sold over $1,000 in 2019. 1,000 to 3,499, those scouts will receive a Square headphone jack or lightning jack reader. And when they log into the app, first time, it'll come up and let them know that they've earned a reader, and they'll have a claim button, and they'll hit claim and put in their address, and we'll ship the reader directly to the scouts. So you as leaders won't have to worry about that. You can see that scouts sold 3,500 or more in 2019. They will get a Square Bluetooth reader, a contactless Bluetooth reader. So excited about that. Let's make sure all our scouts that earned it from 2019 get their reader. If a scout for some reason doesn't get prompted or they miss the prompt and that family says, hey, we don't know what we need to do, just have them contact our support. You see the email there, and our support team will jump right on it and make sure that that scout gets their reader. Okay, so what now from our standpoint? It's join our Facebook group, register for a webinar, and then get that app into every one of your family's hands. Let them download it and create their account for their scout. And, they'll have the options of however comfortable they are with selling. We feel like we've got ways for them to sell. Thank you. That's my end of mine. Thanks again for letting me be here.
Well, thank you, Jared, for joining us. Apparently, we do have a few questions that popped up for you.
Okay, that's good.
So Gabrielle, tell us the first question.
So the first question is, can the troop create an online account and a general online account instead of an account for each scout?
The system, Gabrielle, is not going to have an option for that. In other words, you're not going to be able to go in there and say, okay, here's the unit option. But who's to say that the unit couldn't go in and basically set up an account that represents the troop that then gets used by their link gets used by all the scouts. We certainly would. That's not our recommendation, but it's not something that that we won't allow to happen. Obviously, when we're looking at rewards and things like that, we want scouts to be able to have their own account, so that because we need to know for rewards, we need to know what each of those scouts have sold. But the functionality is there that they could set up a kind of a dummy account that the troop could use. But again, not recommended, but it is there.
All right, thank you. We also have someone who'd like some clarification, just to make sure. Are you saying that for a wagon sale, parents can pay the troop or unit directly through the app with a credit card and keep the cash? And is that applicable for both delivered orders and undelivered wagon sale orders?
Correct. So any face-to-face sales that a scout does where they've collected cash, whether it's undelivered or delivered, they have that cash, and now they don't, maybe they don't want to drive across town, or maybe the unit leader's saying, look, who knows where that's cash been, I don't want it. So yes, that leader then would log into their scouts, that parent, would log into the app and be able to then have an option of turning that cash into a payment to the leader, and the family would then keep the cash. And that family, would get credit card points on their credit card and all that kind of. So this is what, basically families from across the country have said, hey, we want this feature. So yes, hopefully that answers that.
Great, I think people are gonna love that feature, Jared. A couple more questions for you. Do we know how online direct orders are shipped? Are they all U.S. Postal Service, even for the larger orders? We have some concerns that individual mailboxes may not be large enough to handle those packages.
It's a good question. I think we use a variety of, carriers. And so I don't know whether the system stops the PO box. I think it might. But we do use a variety of carriers, and our folks should be able to look at that address and to make sure that they've got a carrier that'll work for that address. We'll do our best.
Great. People were wondering about premium caramel corn. They're not seeing it. Is that a product that's not going to be available this year?
We are so sorry that was one of the ones that got cut this year. We'll revisit all the products next year, but yes, unfortunately, it's not.
All right. Well, thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
Parents were confused last year, had some issues last year. They have multiple scouts, and when they try to register them, they need separate email addresses for each scout. Is that the same this year?
We've enhanced the system there. And so now with one email, you can have multiple scout accounts on one email, and the system in the app has a feature of being able to toggle much easier than last year between those accounts. The functionality existed last year where one email could, or two scouts in a family could share one email. They would have different usernames, but the clunkiness of it is that in the app, you couldn't toggle easily. So you would literally have to sign out of one sibling's account and then log into the other sibling's account. Now you can still one email, multiple children, and then within the app, there's an easy toggle switch between the siblings.
Well, I'm sure our families will enjoy that, Jared. Thank you.
Yeah, great.
We can still enter credit cards manually, correct?
Absolutely.
All right. After we get done with COVID, do you guys have an idea of when or if we might have pretzels or things like that, or is that just something we're going to have to address next year?
We will. We'll have to address next year. Sorry about that. I think everyone can imagine with COVID, and I'm sure all of you are experiencing it every week as you attend the grocery store or what have you. But we will address all those things as we, get past this and look to next year with our product mix. It was important this year for us to make sure that we had products that we could deliver. Also, I'll tell you that we at Trails End, our mode of operating had to completely change. By now, we would have produced upwards of $70–80 million worth of product and had it stored in warehouses across the country, ready for units to order. Well, obviously, that is a risk that we were not able to take. If we were to produce that product and have it out and have a complete lockdown where that product was no longer good, it would literally do us in as a company. And so one of the things that we've had to do is produce product that we know that we can produce quickly with a quick turnaround time and lots of it. So we're going to work with the council on those who do want to order product. We're going to ask to kind of, hey, let's walk before we run, and let's maybe get a portion, maybe 30%, 25% of what we ordered last year. It'll vary by unit. And then if sales are happening, we have promised Brian and Kevin and the council that we will get them more product. And that's one of the reasons we've chosen the products that we have, is so that we can respond quickly to the unit's needs if sales go really, really well.
Wonderful. We did have a question. Apparently there is some information that Trails End took off function for leaders to be able to adjust amounts in the system due to families having siblings. What do you recommend?
I think that would be a great comment and question for the webinar. It would encourage you, but we are basically this year that because it's a point system, you can imagine that the unit coming in and just putting in what each sales were, that's not as easy, obviously, in a point system. And so we're strongly encouraging for each scout to have that is selling to have an account in the app and to be able to have those sales run through each particular scout so we know exactly where their point system is. but I know that's been a big topic on the webinars, and so anyways, would encourage those interested in that to attend one of our webinars and bring that up, because I think there's been some solutions talked about there.
Okay, good to know, and we appreciate you addressing that. Let's see here. Anna, we actually have a question for you.
Perfect, all right.
So are the leaders responsible for updating the scout roster in the Trails In system, or is this somehow linked to the council or scout book records?
It is up to the unit leader to put them in.
So the unit popcorn kernel, or?
The unit popcorn kernel, yes. And if you have questions, if the unit popcorn kernel can't figure out how to do it, they go to their council or their district popcorn kernel.
All right, thank you, Anna. I'm not seeing any additional questions for Jared at this time. If anybody has one, wants to type it in really quick, feel free, but otherwise, Jared, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Jared, for coming today. So I do want to touch base that if you feel your questions haven't been answered or aren't being answered, please hold on to them. And at the very end of our presentation today, we will have a question and answer section. So if we do not cover any of the slides or videos that we're showing today, please feel free to ask again, and we will get it answered. And thanks for sticking with us today. I know it's been a couple hours already and we're tired too, so just keep going with us. Now we have Jessica to go over some important things about the guidebook this year. So Jessica, thank you.
Yes. So, damaged product. What do you do if you open a box and there's a bag that popped open, the seam broke? You would take a picture of it, the damage, and the UPC of the popcorn bag, and send it to your district colonel, and then they'll send that off to Trails End. You then have a choice. You can bring that product to your district colonel and swap it out for the same exact product, or we can just delete it from your show and sell inventory. All right. Jared from Trails End already went over the products that are available this year for selling, but here they are again, noticing that the Unbelievable Butter is now popped and comes in a bag for this year, and the Blazing Hot popcorn, that should be a hit. And the military donations, it's now for the military and first responders. So we call it the American Hero donation. And Cheese Lovers is different this year. It's the white cheddar popcorn with the hot blazing popcorn. For your American Heroes donations, don't have your scouts, if they're out door to door or site selling, to actually ask for donations. They can ask them if they'd like to purchase some popcorn for the military or the first responders, but don't ask for donations. Don't have a jar on your table asking for donations. And at the end, let's say you have $29 left over. It shouldn't be any more than that, because your first pricing of the American Heroes is $30. So it shouldn't be anything more than $29. I hope that makes sense. And at the end, when you get all of your American Hero donations put in, then you'll need to calculate how you're going to distribute those among the scouts. And as you heard Jared said, to really keep it on what the order was for it. We won't be able to split the amount amongst the boys. Once you figured out what your amount is, then you can go in and you're going to put it under the unit's take order, and you'll enter whatever dollar amount is assigned to each scout then. Our important dates for this year: August 21st will be your deadline for putting in your show and sell order. That'll be ready for you to pick up then September 9th or 10th. And then something new this year, you have an opportunity to place a mid-sale popcorn order. The deadline to do that is September 13th with pickup on the 24th. October 11th is the last day of sales. Last day of sales for storefronts, wagons, and online sales. Online sales will be done counting towards prizes after the 11th. October 18th is your last day to enter in your take order products on the Trails End website. And then first week in November, you'll be able to pick those up. And for payment, you can get with your district colonel then and schedule a time during the week of the 23rd to the 30th to turn in your payments. If you guys have further questions, you get snagged on something, you'd like a printout of something important that you've seen, we have the Mount Baker Council popcorn page that you can go to and find the electronic version of the guidebook will be there, certain forms, and any updates that come. We also have a Mount Baker Council's popcorn Facebook page. You can go visit there and find some updates. Also, Trails End website is really the best place to get any questions answered. As Jared talked, there's webinars to take to learn things, and resources on the Trails End website. You can get product images, frequently asked questions, things to help you sell. And that is it for my part of the guidebook, the important parts. Does anybody have any questions for that?
We had a question about splits for site sales. They can still go into the Trails End dashboard as a unit kernel and set how those are being split, correct?
I believe so. I believe so.
I would think so. Yes.
Correct.
All right, and someone asked if we'll be sending out the date information emailed as a slide so that they have it. It's in the guidebook and it'll be on the website, correct?
Yes, and I would think the district colonels would get that out to them as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions about the guidebook? Well, thank you, Jessica, for going over the important things on the guidebook.
You're welcome, Anna.
So next, Brian and myself will sit down here and talk to you and explain your commissions and what some of your bonuses might look like. So this year we are going to 30% ordering with zero and no returns.
Let's explain what 30% ordering is.
30% ordering is 30% of 2019's sales. You can order 30% of that.
And to be clear, that's just the initial order that's due in, I didn't memorize the date, but it was just on the screen.
About a week ago.
In about a week. So that's just the initial sale. You can order more if you're selling more at the second pickup. You can also talk to your district colonels. And if you have a plan to sell more than 30%, you're more than welcome to spell out that plan with your colonels and get that okayed. So.
So next we have our online sales. This year we will be doing 30% commissions. Well, the promotion lasts. So right now we have a promotion of sell $30 and you get free shipping. So as of right now, we're doing 30% commissions while that promotion's going on.
Which
Bless
turns
you.
into 40%, $40.
40%.
No, 30%. Let me start that one more time. The promotion for $30 goes up to $40 Tuesday.
Yes, on the 18th.
We do have a couple questions on the 30% ordering, so we can just go back to that for a moment before we get too far.
Sure.
So what if they were a new unit or didn't sell any popcorn in 2019? How are we handling that?
Get with your district colonel and they will help you go over, and they know how to order for new units.
So they'll help them find an appropriate amount and
Yes.
selection of
Yes.
Certainly
products.
will, certainly will.
Perfect, thank you.
Anything else? Okay.
Hey, Anna and Brian.
Is. So we are doing 30% base commission for traditional sales as well. And before you can qualify for any of the bonus commissions, you must attend today's virtual kickoff, place all product orders on time, and pay your popcorn balance on time. So we are doing 5% bonus commission for traditional sales. To qualify for the 5% bonus commission, each unit must conduct a unit popcorn sale kickoff. Can be live or virtual, however your unit chooses to run that. Each unit must send a copy of the kickoff agenda and or a video clip of the kickoff to your district popcorn colonel or your district executive before September 30th. Each unit must also submit their per scout sales goals to your district popcorn colonel or district executive. Also, on top of that, each unit must achieve 51% of 2019 sales.
And
That can be online and or traditional.
no, it's a combination.
Yes.
Yeah. But you can get them through either, yeah. To address new units for that, if you haven't sold, you automatically get the 5% bonus commission if you're a new unit.
You have to do those first three items.
You have to do the other 3 items, yeah.
Okay. All right, to achieve 5% bonus commission for online sales, you must achieve 25% of 2019 total popcorn sales through online sales, or have 95% of your unit scouts registered in the Trails End app popcorn system with at least 1 online sale per scout.
And for new units, you'll have to get the second option there to get that 5%.
To clarify just a little bit, if you have 10 scouts in your unit, you have to have all 10 scouts registered in the system with 1 sale. So all 10 have to have at least 1 online sale.
Or 9.5 scouts.
Or yeah, 9.5. But tell me how you come up with that half scout.
That's right.
So here's an example of what your bonus commissions can look like. 2019's online sales were $1,000. Your traditional sales were $9,000. They would have equaled $10,000. To achieve the 5% bonus for the online sales, you will need to have sold 2,500 online, or again, have the 95% of your registered scouts. And then for the 5% bonus on traditional sales, you would need to sold 5,100 in total. So your online sales for 2020 would be 2,500, and your traditional sales could be $5,100. So that would make your total sales of 7,600. And you would receive the 5% bonus for online sales of
For a total of
$875. And then you would get your traditional sales bonus for a total of $1,785. And your grand total commissions would be $2,660. Any questions on any of that?
Oh, we have lots of questions.
There.
Yay, we like questions.
All right, so our first question is there a size limit on the mid-sale order?
We haven't set one yet. And if you think you can go gangbusters, we'll talk it over with your district colonels. So once again, everything we talk about can be discussed with your district colonel, and a plan can be made up, and we can get you all the popcorn you guys need. If you think you can sell it, we'll get it to you.
Are we going to be sending out any paper packets with all of these popcorn things to the units?
No, we're going totally online this year. Everything we do will be available through the website. There will be paper order forms available through your district colonels or through either council office. So you can go and pick up the order forms there, but the rest of the materials will be all online.
All right, this one I may not completely understand. If we plan to go online only as a pack, does that check off our place order on time and pay on time check boxes?
Sure.
I'm glad you guys understood it.
Are
Are we gonna have the Scout goal sheet available?
we can put that on the website.
All right. Does online direct count for the 25% online sales?
Say that again.
Does online direct count for the 25% online sales?
Yes, online direct is direct to customer, so that's online.
All right, and copy of the guidebook, like you said, is going to be available on the council website. You can download it there. Apparently, we had a math error. 25% of 1,000 is 250, not whatever you guys said. Just so you know.
Thanks.
Just telling you.
Hey, I'm not perfect. Never claimed to be.
When we talk traditional sales, what falls under that?
Storefront and wagon sales.
Okay. The app installed counts as long as one family member has it, since not all scouts have phones. Is that accurate?
Jared, are you still on the line? Can you answer that?
We lost Jared.
Yes, that would be fine, Brian, right? Because I'm here. Can you hear me, Brian?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yes, that would be great, because even that one phone, they're going to be able to toggle between the various accounts. I would assume you guys would be fine with that.
Repeat.
I said I would think that would be just fine, right? Because even on one phone, that family is going to be able to toggle between their various scouts for that family.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
All right, so when we talk about scouts having at least one sale, is there a minimum sales amount that we're asking them to have? Or if they have a $1 military donation, is that going to count?
Well, we didn't consider that, but we hope that they sell at least one item. So we didn't write that down. I'll go on record right now saying please sell at least one item or one bag of popcorn. Yeah.
Agreed.
Why is the 5% bonus for traditional sales based on total sales and not on total of traditional sales? Or is that a misunderstanding with the commission?
Please repeat.
So why is the 5% bonus for traditional sales based on total sales and not only on traditional sales?
Because we're not going to have as many storefront sales and or wagon sales. A lot of things are going to go online this year. So we actually it's a benefit for you guys.
Yeah, we anticipated online sales going gangbusters this year. So we tried to create our incentives around that and our bonuses around that. Why did we go over total sales of 2019? 51% of total sales is kind of where we went. As a council, we had to adjust our budget to hopefully make at least half of last year's sales. And so we had to create our percentages around that number. So I hope that answers that question.
The 95% registered with one online sale, is that one online sale out of all 95%, or is that one online sale per registered scout?
Per registered scout.
And when we're talking 95%, is that of active scouts or of last year's registered scouts?
Active scouts.
Work with your district executive to make sure that your rosters are clean in the Trails End system, because that's the only way we know, versus because the district executive can check your roster in our system, and if you have any scouts on that they're not meeting anymore, let them know, and we'll make sure that you're getting credit for what you need to get credit for.
Someone wants to know how much, or how can they figure out how much they sold online last year? Is that something that their district colonel will be sending to them? Or that they can pull
Yeah,
somewhere on their
30%.
dashboard?
Yeah, district colonel can find out all that information.
They're
Yep.
putting it at 30% of last year's orders.
Yes, yeah, I'm putting that together tonight and then giving it all to all the district colonels to send out.
Yes. So
Anna?
30% of last year.
Anna,
Yes, Jared.
they can also, when they log into the leader portal at the dashboard, it'll have what their online total is for 2020. And then they can go up and there's a little drop down box where they can change it to campaign 2019. And it will then in the dashboard show them what their online sales was for 2019.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Jared, this might be a question for you. We're having some people saying that when they open the phone app, it's telling them their password is wrong. Is this a common issue, or did they need to change their password this year?
We have changed the security. We kind of tightened it, but it should prompt them to kind of change it. One of the things that's hit just recently in our support group, a number of questions is just reminding leaders that when they get their leader account from registering, that remember, if they try to log into the app with that leader account, it's going to give them an error. So, and I'm not saying that's what the issue is here, but just maybe just a tip to make sure that if this is your leader account and you try to log into the app, you will get an error. That leader account is for you to go to trails-n.com and log into the leader portal. So, but if it truly is an error within the app and you're using a Scout account, just have them they can hit support and email our support group, and our guys are on it and they should be able to hear back hopefully within a day, hopefully less than that.
All right, and then we are seeing some people who are apparently having some problems registering as a popcorn kernel. It's asking for a validation code. What's the best way for them to get that? Jared, any ideas?
I'm not sure on the validate. That's news to me. What does happen, I will say though, is that when a unit registers, then it goes over to the council, and Brian and Anna, maybe that's something we need to look at to make sure that we're kind of up to date on approving those registrations. And we do that for safety reasons, right? We don't want anybody to be able to come in and create themselves as a leader of a unit. And so the council reviews those and approves them, so that, and then once they approve, then it gives the leader an email saying, hey, you're good to go to get logged into the system. So Brian and Anna, we may need to look at that to make sure that we don't have any pending registrations out there.
We'll commit to getting that done by Monday. Make sure everybody's who's registered is approved and all that.
Perfect. I think that's the problem. Is that Gabrielle talking?
Well, that was, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, perfect. Thanks. That's the answer to that, Gabrielle.
All right, so for the 95% of scout selling, does each scout, do you need to have each scout sell that online product, or can one scout cover all the online orders?
each scout has to have one sale.
At
You
least.
cannot have, if you have 10 scouts, they're all have to be registered. They all have to have one scout. You cannot
sale.
have one sale, sorry. You cannot have one person sell 20 items and have it count for all the units.
So a question about the timeline. So the first date they can pick up popcorn is going to be September 9th or 10th.
Yes.
And the deadline for the mid-order sale is September 13th.
Yes.
How are they supposed to know whether they should order additional popcorn or not with such a short time frame?
So that's a good question, and we did consider that as we put this together. We figured that the first weekend would be a good barometer to be able to tell if your sales are going well, and hopefully you'll be able to come back on Monday and be like, yeah, sales went gangbusters. We're probably going to need this much popcorn, or like, no, we hardly sold anything this weekend, so we don't need very much more popcorn. And that said, if you do sell out of popcorn, as Jared said earlier in the presentation, we will open up another order date to make sure you guys get the corn you need to sell. So if you missed that 13th date, let us know. We'll see what we can do to hook you up and make sure you get all the corn you need to sell.
We have a lot of technical issues. So what I will say, and I think Jared has said this, if you're having a technical issue, feel free to reach out to support at trails-in.com. I believe it's the place to send them to, Jared, right? And they'll be happy to help them.
Correct. Support at trails-in.com.
And I'm gonna throw Jared under the bus a little bit here myself. Email me with your problems, and I will send them to Jared, and they get answered pretty quick that way too. So.
Either way, Brian.
Yeah, guys. Let's see, I'm just making sure. So another concern with that short time frame, especially with the 13th being a Sunday, well, it's what we have to work with is what I'm hearing.
Well, like I said, if you can't get it done or don't think you can make that order by the 13th, stay in touch, talk to your district colonels, talk to your district executives, and we will get you corn. We will set up another date to send something out. We will make sure you're taken care of. But hopefully you'll have a good barometer after that first weekend of sales to be able to let us know that you think you need more or not.
And then for those free square readers, for those scouts who qualified, if they missed the pop-up in the app, Jared, they can again email the support team and they will help take care of that, correct?
Correct.
All right, I think that is all we have at this particular second.
If we missed any questions, please feel free to repost them.
So now I think we're almost to the end of the main presentations. So we'll go ahead and open this table up to any of the questions that weren't answered or you feel haven't been answered through the webinar. So general question session begins now. So throw them our way.
So first one we have that's kind of a general question is with the IRS rules around the scout accounts, does the council have advice on how to keep track of who's earned their way to camp and other things, and who still has to pay out of pocket?
So I'll field this one. Scout accounts aren't allowed. The reason we don't allow scout accounts is because the money does not belong to the scout. You can track the money that is earned by the scout however you see fit. So if it comes in, you can put it in an Excel spreadsheet. Johnny earned this much. He gets this much toward his gear or toward his camp or toward the events that he's going to. What can't happen is that money is given to the scout. It is not that scout's money. So that's basically the description there. You can still track the money however your committee and charter organization is okay with. That's fine. You just got to realize that the money that is raised for the unit, not for the scout. And if you need better tracking systems, we can get in touch with your district colonel once again, me or even Jared. I'm sure there's tons and tons and tons and tons of ways to track the youth popcorn. Get on Facebook, the Trails In page, or our Facebook page. People will have all types of tools for you to use to be able to do this.
Great.
Are we going to be able to see where our scouts are in sales ranking within the council?
So we're gonna come up, actually, it's a good question. We're coming out with a weekly ranking.
Yeah.
And we're coming up with a prize program for that. We talked about this last night. We're thinking that'd be fun to do, but it hasn't been hashed out, but there will be a weekly ranking coming out and they'll get something for it.
Don't know what it is, but stay tuned.
Stay tuned, yeah.
So we have a question about when can scouts start selling? This person is a brand new colonel. They just took this on yesterday, so we want to thank you for taking that on.
Yes.
But can scout families who are already comfortable with the system go ahead and sign into their Trails In app and start taking orders, or do they have to wait for the PAC kickoff to make that happen?
They can start selling now. Our sales started what? We're in August? July 1st. Yeah, our sales started July 1st online. So we'll have some prizes for that as well right now.
If you got eager beavers, send them out. Don't stop them.
All right. Don't see any other questions at this time. So if anybody has questions, please go ahead and get those typed in, and Anna and Brian and Jared will be thrilled.
Or we're about to end this presentation, so you can take your questions to your district breakouts and they can answer more in-depth questions there too. So.
And in the guidebook too is all of our emails and contact information. So if you have any questions that did not get answered today, feel free to reach out to Brian or myself or both of us.
I'm going to take a couple of seconds. I have a few closing comments. I'm going to turn it over back to Anna to close the event. I just want to say, I believe in popcorn. I believe that popcorn can be the only fundraiser you need. I believe that popcorn makes scouting available to youth that wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. I believe that popcorn alleviates the burden on families, and I believe that we can do it this year. We feel it's important to provide this opportunity to all the units because scouting continues and scouting will continue, and there will be costs. And this year, just the basic cost of scouting has gone up. The national fee has risen, the council program fee is there. There are fees to be paid, and we are providing this opportunity for units to be able to continue providing scouting for their kids. The question should be, is how can we do this? All right. I understand there's a lot of trepidation about getting out there, and we're not advocating that anybody is forced to do this. Only do what you're comfortable with. If you think online sales is it for you, we support that, and we want to give you all the tools to do online sales. If you think wagon sales are okay and you get out there, we're going to support that and make sure you have all the tools you need to be successful with wagon sales. If you think site sales are okay and you can get out there behind a screen and feel safe, we're going to give you all the tools you need to be successful in site sales. So we are here to provide this opportunity for you to provide scouting for your youth. It doesn't have to be easy, and it's not going to be easy this year. There's going to be a lot of flips and turns and things that we may or may not be able to do. We might have site sales set up, and then the governor says, no, you can't leave your houses again. So there's going to be a lot of turning on a dime that we have to be able to do. And I think we provided enough opportunities for us to continue this sale, even if we can't leave our homes. This sale will be just as successful as it ever was if, and only if, we continue to take it seriously and we continue to push through the avenues that we have available to us. I want to once again reiterate the safety methods that we have. Please, please, please do what your counties will allow you to do, and only that, no more. Do only what you feel safe doing, and make sure if you're out there, you're being safe about it. Have your hand sanitizer, have your face mask, and all that jazz. Thank you for attending today. We know it's a long one. I got a lot of questions about 3 hours. Are you kidding? Like, well, yes, we do believe that this information is important and very helpful and vital to your sale. So I really appreciate you guys showing up today. And I think popcorn is great. So at this time, it is the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to do our prize drawings. So
Wait,
wait.
last minute question.
Okay, last minute question.
If we order for site sales and site sales are not allowed, are we then going to allow returns?
If we order through site sales and they're not, we haven't discussed that. So that's a good question. And we'll figure out the answer to it.
Thank you.
Yep. So at this time, we're going to do our drawings. The $1,000 and $300 and $200 drawing will be done after this presentation and announced at the district breakouts. So that's how we're going to do those. But we can still do we had an online sales drawing for anyone who sold online. We got a list of those right now. We're going to generate the first number and name and unit for the first seller to win a $100 gift card to the Scout Shop in Mount Baker Council. You can pick up your what's the word I'm looking for, certificate at the Scout Shop. Just let us know where you're at. So our first winner is number
46.
Number 46, who is pack 356, Rhett R. All right. Our
Next
second $100 winner is
23.
number 23, who is Maximus P from pack 4084. And our final drawing is
56.
pack 50, number 56, and that is Wesley S. from pack 536. You guys, your units will be contacted and you will receive your notice to pick up your gift cards from the council office. So 1 up north and 2 down south. So congratulations. And we'll have the rest of our drawings and announce winners in the district breakouts. So I'm gonna turn this back over to Anna to introduce our final couple of things. I'll take care of you.
So I want to thank everyone for sticking through our day. We now have our Scout Executive, Kevin Nichols, with our Scout Master Minute. Thank you, Kevin, for the Scout Master Minute. I'm going to have Brian come back on. There's a couple questions and comments that he needs to talk about.
Gabrielle, I want to ask that question out loud again real quick.
Sure. So if we are allowed scout accounts, can the unit repay scouts for gear they go purchase from REI?
No, you're not allowed to give scouts money. That's the IRS law right there. It's not a scout account. It's a tracking tool. Does that make sense? I hope that you can use an Excel spreadsheet to track who bought what, but the money belongs to the unit. Clear as mud? Do I need to reiterate anything?
I'm not seeing anything else at this time.
Okay, if you have more questions about IRS and scout accounts or donations and all that, email me directly and I'm happy to have a conversation because it's more than this. It's probably another 4 hours. No, I'm just kidding. But we can talk about it and I can make sure you're versed on what is and isn't allowed through scouting. All right, back to you, Ann.
Perfect. All right, so all of our presentations and the guidebook and this video of the kickoff will be available on our website at mountbakerbsa.org/events/popcorn. Thanks again for everybody for joining us.